Today we're going to look at word problems and solve quadratic equations by graphing. The width of a rectangle is 2 meters more than the length. The area of the rectangle is 63 square meters. Find the dimensions of the rectangle and use a graphing calculator for assistance. Now the question is asking us to find the dimensions, and by that they mean the length and the width, because those two sides matter when you're finding the area of a rectangle. Now the question tells us the area is actually 63 square meters. So let's draw a triangle on the side, and the space inside, meaning the area, is equal to 63 square meters. All right, but what's the length and the width? Let's look back at the question. The width is 2 meters more than the length. Okay, but we don't know how much the length is. So let's write a let x statement. Let x represent the length. Now on our rectangle, let's write that this side x is the length. Now the width was 2 meters more, so let x plus 2 represent the width. So let's write that on our rectangle, so that'll be x plus 2, and that happens to be our width. Now that we have our let x statement and our drawing, let's make an equation out of this. So start off with the equation for area, which is area is equal to length times width. Well, area we know is 63, and length happens to be x, and width happens to be x plus 2. So we're multiplying those two. So leave the 63 and let's multiply it out. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is positive 2x. This is looking more like an equation. Next, let's move the 63 to the other side. So because we're moving that, we're left with 0. X squared plus 2x, and then minus 63. Now this right here is a quadratic equation. Now we have to find what x is equal to, right? Because we need to find the length and the width. In other words, we're finding the x-intercepts or the roots. And to do that, we're going to use an easier way. We're going to use a graphing calculator. So to find the x-intercepts, we are going to be using the graphing calculator Desmos. So go on to Google and let's type in Desmos graphing calculator. Click on this link right here, and here is our graphing calculator. So now let's write our equation. So it was x squared, so type in the x and this little A2 sign for the square, then plus 2x, and then minus 63. So notice it has graphed our parabola right here. Now the x-intercept is wherever it touches the x-axis, so let's look at this one right here. Here, the x-intercept is at -9 and 0, so the x value is -9, and the other x-intercept is right over here, 7 and 0, so the x value here happens to be 7. So now that we have our x-intercepts, let's get back to our question. Now that we've found our x-intercepts, let's write that down. One of them was x is equal to -9, and the other x-intercept was x is equal to positive 7. Now, does it make sense to have a side length as -9? Absolutely not. So we're not going to use that. Instead, we are going to use x is equal to 7 as one of our side length. So remember, length from our equation was equal to x. So let's write that down, and x happens to be 7 meters. So that is our length. Now let's write our width. Again, in our equation, the width was basically x plus 2. So let's write that down, x plus 2, and x happens to be 7, so 7 plus 2, that comes to 9 meters. So that right there is our width. So here is our answer for the length and the width. Now for your homework today, you're going to need to know the equations to these three concepts. Let's start off with the Pythagorean theorem. The equation for that is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Now let's move on to the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle is A for area is equal to base times height divided by 2. And last but not least, you're going to have to deal with word problems of consecutive numbers. So for example, a number, we don't know what it is, so we'll just say it's x. The second number right next to it would be x plus 1, and the number after that one would be x plus 2, and so forth. So again, make sure you remember to use these concepts for the word problems you're going to do today. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Bye!